Welcome, dear travelers. Imagine this moment. Your journey through Japan is drawing to a close. Your suitcase is nearly full. Your camera is heavy with photographs. Your heart carries laughter, quiet moments, and 1,000 small discoveries. And yet, one task remains, one last ritual before you return home. That task is to choose souvenirs, a reminder of where you have been, and proof that you were there. But in Japan, the meaning is different. Here, a souvenir, omiyage, is rarely for yourself. It is for others. It is for your family, your friends, your colleagues, even your neighbors. To bring an omiyage is to say, I remembered you while I was away. I want you to taste a piece of my journey. I want you to feel included in my experience. This spirit of sharing is the heart of the Japanese souvenir, and no city shows this heart more vividly than Tokyo. Tokyo is a stage. Tokyo is a city of contrasts. Temples with centuries of history stand beside towers of glass. Gardens of moss and stone exist next to streets of neon and screens. Quiet shrines hide between train stations. And through it all, people move with energy, blending past and present every day. Tokyo's souvenirs reflect this unique mixture. They are both traditional and modern, both playful and elegant. Some are humble, some are grand. All of them carry stories that connect you not only to Tokyo, but to the people who lived, worked, and prayed here over centuries. A question for you. Before we begin, let me ask you, why do we feel the urge to bring something home? Why not keep the memory in our hearts? Why not simply tell stories without gifts? The answer lies in Japan's sense of community. Here, a trip is not only your own adventure, it is something that can be shared. When you give an omiyage, the people who receive it taste what you tasted. They hear the story of where it came from. They imagine the lanterns of Asakusa, the bridge of Nihonbashi, the blossoms by the Sumida. In this way, your experience spreads outward. Your family, your coworkers, your neighbors, suddenly they too are part of your journey. That is the beauty of omiyage. The word omiyage is written with characters meaning shrine and gift. And indeed, the story begins with religion. During the Edo period, more than 300 years ago, one of the most important pilgrimages was to Ise Shrine. For ordinary people, visiting Ise was the dream of a lifetime, but such a trip was long and expensive. Few could afford to go alone. So neighbors created Ise-ko, associations where people pooled their money. They would choose one representative to travel, carrying not only his own prayers but the prayers of the entire group. When he returned, he did not come back empty-handed. He brought a talisman from the shrine, a jingu taima, a sacred object that carried blessings back to everyone. This was the first form of souvenir in Japan. It was not food. It was not decoration. It was a spiritual token, proof that the journey had been made, and a way to share divine protection with those who could not go. From the very beginning, souvenirs in Japan were about sharing, about connection, about giving others a piece of your journey. From temples to treats, as pilgrimages grew, temple towns flourished. Merchants lined the roads, selling small durable goods, illustrated prints, protective charms, packets of herbal medicine. At the same time, local tea houses offered snacks to weary travelers. Mochi rice cakes, dumplings, sweet buns. These were eaten on the spot, delicious but perishable. Not yet souvenirs. For a long time, a clear line existed. Souvenirs were durable items you could carry home. Local specialties were enjoyed on the spot. But change was coming. In the late 19th century, railways transformed travel. What once took days could be done in hours. This changed food itself. Sweets that once spoiled quickly could now survive the trip home. Merchants learned to package their goods, extend their freshness, and design beautiful wrappings that made gifts more attractive. Suddenly, the snacks of temple towns became portable. A rice cake could be carried home. A local sweet could be given to coworker. This was the birth of the edible souvenir. From sacred charms to wrapped confections, omiyage evolved with society, but the essence stayed the same. It was never only about the object, it was always about the relationship. Even today, Japanese people feel uneasy returning from a trip without omiyage. It is not just politeness, it is a way of saying thank you to those who covered your work, watched your home, or simply waited for your return. And with every gift comes a story. To hand someone a box of sweets is to say, this is from Asakusa. I saw the great red lantern. I walked the busy streets. I thought of you, and I brought this back. The sweet becomes a bridge. Through it, the receiver imagines your journey. So why Tokyo? Because Tokyo has always been more than a city. In the Edo period, it was the seat of the shogun. In the Meiji era, it was the engine of modernization. And today, it is a global capital. Every phase of its history has created souvenirs that mirror its role as a city of merchants, of pilgrims, of poets, and of innovation. Think of Tokyo's neighborhoods as chapters in a story. Asakusa gave us lively temple town sweets. kaminari-okoshi, ningyo-yaki, and the humble imo-yokan. Nihonbashi, the commercial heart, gave us preserved foods, tsukudani, katsuobushi, and seasoned seaweed. The Sumida River gave us poetry and springtime in the form of sakura-mochi. Each neighborhood added its own voice. Together they form the chorus of Tokyo's edible culture. In this series we will walk through each of these places. We will hear their stories. We will taste their flavors. We will understand not just what they are, but why they matter. By the end you will see that to buy a Tokyo souvenir is to hold history, culture, and memory, all wrapped in paper. So let us begin. Our first stop, Asakusa. Entering Asakusa, imagine yourself at Asakusa. You pass beneath the great red lantern of Kaminari-mon. Crowds move around you, their voices mixing with the calls of shopkeepers. The air carries a sweet, nutty aroma. You are walking into a place where food, faith, and fun have danced together for centuries. Asakusa is more than a tourist spot. It was the heart of Edo's common culture. Pilgrims, entertainers, merchants, and ordinary people. Its souvenirs still carry that spirit. Kaminari-okoshi, luck in a bite. Near Kaminari-mon, you notice wooden boxes stacked high with rice crackers. The vendor smiles and says, "Okoshi means to rise. Buy this, and your fortune will rise too." This is kaminari-okoshi, born in the late Edo period. The recipe is simple, yet the meaning is rich. Rice is puffed until it pops. Syrup bubbles, thick and golden. The two are pressed into sheets, then cut into neat squares. Crunchy, fragrant, sweet, but more than that, it is a charm. To eat okoshi is to wish for prosperity. Prosperity for your home, prosperity for your family, prosperity for your life. For centuries, pilgrims carried these home not only as a snack but as a blessing. Even today, shops like Tokiwado continue the tradition. Every crisp bite still whispers, "May your fortune rise." Ningyo-yaki, edible landmarks. A little farther along Nakamise Street, you hear a rhythmic clack. Metal molds open and close. Steam rises. Inside, tiny sponge cakes are baking. Ningyo-yaki. At first glance, they look like toys. Some are shaped like pagodas, some like lanterns, some even like pigeons. Break one open, and you find soft bean paste inside. Sweet, warm, and comforting. The name ningyo-yaki means baked dolls. It began in Nihonbashi's Ningyo-cho, where puppet theaters were popular. Bakers shaped cakes like dolls and lucky figures. When the craft moved to Asakusa in the early 20th century, the shapes changed. No longer dolls, now local landmarks. Lanterns, temples, pigeons. Each cake became a miniature souvenir of the city itself. Even history left its mark. During wartime, bakers shaped tanks and soldiers, proof that even sweets can mirror the times. Today, when you buy a box of ningyo-yaki, you are not just buying cakes. You are buying a map you can eat, a story you can taste. Imo-yokan, humble innovation. Now let us step into another shop. The sign says Funwa. It opened in 1902, and its story is special. At that time, traditional yokan, a jelly made from beans and agar, was expensive. It was considered a luxury. But the founder Kobayashi Wasuke had another idea. Why not use sweet potatoes? They were cheap, plentiful, and honest. So he made a new kind of yokan. Just sweet potatoes, sugar, and a pinch of salt. No colors, only nature's flavor. The result was smooth, golden, and subtly sweet. Not flashy, but comforting. Not aristocratic, but for everyone. It was a sweet born in the Meiji era, when Japan was modernizing. A sweet that made tradition available to all. Even now, visitors line up for a slice. Simple, affordable, pure. Every bite of imo-yokan carries the spirit of humble innovation, the spirit of Tokyo itself. Tokyo's culture has never been only about shoguns and palaces. It has always been about ordinary people, pilgrims seeking blessings, families sharing laughter, travelers bringing gifts home. Kaminari-okoshi carries luck. Ningyo-yaki carries place. Imo-yokan carries honesty. Together, they carry the heartbeat of Tokyo's common folk. Joyful, resilient, sharing. As you walk through Asakusa, you are not only tasting sweets, you are tasting the spirit of the people who lived here. Now, dear travelers, let us leave the bright streets of Asakusa. We cross the city to Nihonbashi. Here the mood shifts. The crowds are quieter. The air is heavier with history. Nihonbashi was the starting point of the great highways of Japan. It was the center of trade and commerce, and its souvenirs. They are not playful like Asakusa's. They are foods of endurance, preservation, and deep flavor. Our next stop, Nihonbashi, the merchant city. Entering Nihonbashi, the merchant city. Entering Nihonbashi, the merchant city. Entering Nihonbashi, the merchants. Now, dear travelers, let us leave the cheerful streets of Asakusa. We walk eastward, toward the heart of commerce, Nihonbashi. Here stands a stone bridge, elegant and strong. It once marked the starting point of Japan's 5 great highways. Every road began here. Every journey flowed through this point. In the Edo period, Nihonbashi was alive with merchants. Goods arrived from every corner of Japan. Rice, fish, soy sauce, silk, banks, wholesalers, and warehouses lined the streets. It was the economic heart of Edo. And just as Asakusa gave us sweets, Nihonbashi gave us foods of preservation. Flavors that lasted, flavors that traveled, flavors born of trade and necessity. Tsukudani, loyalty preserved in soy sauce. Our first stop is Tsukuda Island, just beyond Nihonbashi.
Its story begins with a dramatic escape. After the fall of Oda Nobunaga, Tokugawa Ieyasu fled, pursued by enemies. Fishermen from Tsukuda village near Osaka guided him to safety. Years later, when Edo became his capital, Ieyasu rewarded them with land in Edo. That land became Tsukuda. The fishermen brought with them a method of preservation. They simmered small fish and shellfish in strong soy sauce and salt. The flavor was deep. The food lasted long voyages. This was Tukudani. At first it was humble fare, eaten on boats and in fishing huts, but Edo citizens discovered its charm. Salty, sweet, and rich, it was perfect with rice. Soon Tukudani was sold in shops. Travelers carried jars home as souvenirs. Even today, in shops like Tenyasu, founded in 1837, great iron pots still bubble. Inside, fish simmer slowly, filling the air with a savory steam that clings to your clothes. To taste Tukudani is to taste loyalty, resourcefulness, and survival, preserved in soy, katsuobushi, the soul of Japanese flavor. Next, we step into a shop with a smoky scent. This is Ninben, founded in 1699, a temple of katsuobushi. Before you, blocks of dried bonito are stacked like treasure. They are hard as wood, their surface is polished by months of smoke and mold. This is hankarabushi, the finest form of katsuobushi. The process is long and painstaking. First, bonito is filleted and boiled, then smoked repeatedly, over and over, until the flesh becomes firm and fragrant. Finally, mold is applied to the surface, drawing out moisture, deepening umami. Months pass. The result is a block of concentrated flavor. Shave it thin, and flakes fall like feathers. Drop them in hot water, and they release dashi, the base of Japanese cuisine. Invisible but essential. For Edo cooks, these blocks were gold. For travelers, they became precious gifts. And today, for modern visitors, packs of freshly shaved flakes or bottled soup stock make the tradition easy to share. To carry katsuobushi from Nihonbashi is not just to carry food, it is to carry the very soul of Japanese taste. Seasoned nori, from imperial gift to household favorite. Now let us walk a little farther. Here is Yamamoto Nori Tin, a shop founded in 1849. In its glass cases are tins of seaweed, simple yet elegant, but the story is special. In 1869, the shop's second head was asked to prepare a gift for the emperor. He brushed sheets of nori with soy sauce and mirin, then dried them crisp. The result was Ajitsuke Nori, seasoned seaweed, savory, fragrant, light, perfect with rice. Its symbol became the plum blossom, a reminder that the best nori is harvested in winter, when plum trees bloom. From imperial gift it spread to households across Japan. It became a national favorite, eaten by children and elders alike. Even today, a tin of Yamamoto Nori Ten seaweed feels refined. To hold one is to hold a piece of Meiji innovation, where tradition met modern taste. Tsukudani tells us of fishermen, loyalty, and endurance. Katsuobushi tells us of craft, patience, and the invisible backbone of Japanese cuisine. Seasoned nori tells us of imperial elegance, shared with every household. Asakusa's sweets were playful, cheerful, democratic. Nihonbashi's foods are different. They are serious. They are enduring. They reflect the spirit of commerce, trade, and innovation. To taste them is to taste the merchant city, Tokyo, as a hub of survival and prosperity. Now, dear travelers, let us walk again. This time, toward the river. The Sumida flows gently, carrying boats and memories. For centuries, it was Edo's favorite place for leisure. Poets wrote verses beneath the blossoms. Artists sketched the bridges and the water. Families picnicked on its banks. And here, one souvenir was born that carries the very fragrance of spring. It is pink. It is wrapped in a leaf. It is called sakura-mochi. Arrival at the river. Now, dear travelers, we leave Nihonbashi and walk toward the water. The Sumida River flows wide and calm. Its surface reflects bridges, boats, and drifting clouds. For centuries, Edo people came here not to work, but to rest. They came for festivals. They came for fireworks. They came above all for cherry blossoms. Picture the scene. It is spring. The air is cool, but sunlight is gentle. Petals fall like snow, settling on shoulders, on water, on the ground. Families spread cloths under the trees. Children laugh, chasing blossoms. Couples pour tea. Poets dip their brushes, composing verses of beauty and loss. The Sumida was, and still is, a place where people gather to celebrate the fleeting beauty of life. The birth of sakura-mochi. Amid these blossoms, a new souvenir was born. The year was 7. At Chomeiji Temple, a gatekeeper named Yamamoto Shinroku faced a simple problem. Cherry trees shed countless leaves, covering the ground. What to do with so many fallen leaves? He salted them. Then he wrapped them around small cakes of sweet rice and bean paste. The result was sakura-mochi. Fragrant, soft, balanced between sweet and salty, a taste that captured spring itself. Soon, visitors along the Sumida could not resist. They lined up to buy the pink cakes. They carried them to the riverbanks, eating beneath the blossoms. From then on, sakura-mochi was not just food. It was poetry made edible. It was a way to taste the season, to hold spring in your hand. Eating sakura-mochi. Imagine now, dear travelers, that you are sitting by the river. A shopkeeper has handed you a fresh sakura-mochi. The cake is pale pink, wrapped in a leaf that shines with salt. You lift it. The fragrance rises immediately. The scent of cherry, the hint of salt. You take a bite. The rice is soft. The bean paste is smooth, gentle, comforting. The leaf adds a delicate contrast, sharp and aromatic. For a moment you taste not only sweetness, you taste springtime. You taste centuries of hanami picnics. You taste the hearts of Edo people, long gone, who once sat under the same trees, watching the same blossoms fall. This is what makes sakura-mochi more than dessert. It is a connection across time. Up to this point, we have spoken of souvenirs as objects, boxes, jars, tins. But here, by the Sumida, we understand something deeper. Souvenirs begin as experiences. The box of ningyo-yaki is a reminder of the moment you saw steam rising from the molds. The jar of tsukudani is a reminder of the heavy aroma in an old shop, the iron pots bubbling. The tin of seaweed is a reminder of the story of the emperor, told to you by a smiling shop attendant. And the sakura-mochi, it is the reminder of blossoms falling on your shoulders, of laughter and poetry in the spring air. The objects we carry home are keys to unlock memories. When you share them with family or friends, you give more than flavor, you give them the experience. They imagine what you saw. They feel what you felt. They become part of your journey. The magic of Tokyo's souvenirs. This is the magic of Tokyo's souvenirs. They are not just things to eat. They are experiences you can share. They are pieces of history wrapped in paper. They are bridges from your journey to the lives of others. Now, dear travelers, we have seen Asakusa's cheer, Nihonbashi's commerce, and the Sumida's poetry. Together they form a mosaic of Tokyo's heart. But our journey is not over. To understand Tokyo fully, we must compare it with other regions. Kyoto, the city of elegance. Osaka, the kitchen of Japan. Nagoya, the practical crossroads. Hokkaido, the land of nature's abundance. By comparing, we will see more clearly what makes Tokyo unique, comparing Tokyo with other regions. Dear travelers, before we close our story of Tokyo, let us step back. Let us imagine journeys to other parts of Japan. Each region has its own flavor, its own souvenirs, its own voice. Kyoto, whisper of elegance. First, Kyoto, the ancient capital. Here souvenirs carry centuries of refinement. The most famous is yatsuhashi, cinnamon-flavored dough, often filled with bean paste, delicate, graceful, soft on the tongue. Kyoto sweets are called miyabi, elegant beauty. Colors are gentle, shapes are refined. They are meant to be savored slowly with tea, in quiet company. Now compare that with Tokyo's ningyo-yaki, or kaminari-okoshi. Kyoto whispers, Tokyo laughs. Kyoto's souvenirs are poetry in delicate tones. Tokyo's are playful, energetic, born from the crowd. Next, Osaka, often called the kitchen of Japan. Osaka's souvenirs are hearty and bold, from colorful imo-yokan to the famous pork buns of 541 Horai. They are filling, satisfying, and meant to be eaten with a smile. Even Osaka's rice sweets are different. Tokyo's kaminari-okoshi speaks of fortune, wordplay, and blessing. Osaka's imo-yokan shows variety, decoration, humor. It reflects the city's flair for entertainment. Osaka shouts, eat well, laugh loud, live large. Tokyo says, carry a story, share a blessing. Both were born of merchant culture, yet their personalities are worlds apart. Nagoya, steady and practical. Now let us move to Nagoya. Between east and west, its souvenirs reflect practicality. One is uiro, a steamed rice cake with a chewy texture. Another is kishimen, flat noodles, easy to cook and easy to carry. Nagoya's souvenirs are not luxurious or playful. They are functional, they travel well, they last long. They fit into everyday life. Compare that with Tokyo's imo-yokan. Both are simple, but Nagoya's simplicity is about durability. Tokyo's simplicity is about honesty and narrative. The story of Meiji merchants making sweets for everyone. Nagoya gives sustenance. Tokyo gives story. Hokkaido, nature's abundance. Finally, let us fly north to Hokkaido. Wide skies, vast fields, snowy winters. Hokkaido's souvenirs reflect nature itself. Shiroi koibito, a delicate white chocolate cookie, beloved around the world. Maruse butter sandwich, rich with butter and raisins, indulgent and creamy. These are gifts of climate and land. Milk, butter, wheat, the blessings of Hokkaido's soil. They are heavy, rich, full of nature's generosity. Tokyo's souvenirs are different. They do not speak of farms or fields. They speak of people, of markets, temples, crowds, laughter, and trade. Hokkaido tells the story of land. Tokyo tells the story of city. So what is the special taste of Tokyo's souvenirs? It can be summed up in 3 points. Ronlyres, they carry stories. Fishermen saving a shogun. Blossoms falling along the Sumida. Lucky wordplay at the Thundergate. They reflect city life. Not mountains, not farms, but markets, festivals, shrines, and urban crowds. They evolve. From tsukudani to seasoned nori. From Edo traditions to Meiji innovations. From hand-shaved katsuobushi to modern soup packs. Tokyo's souvenirs grow and change, just as the city does. In short, Tokyo's souvenirs are not simply about taste. They are about memory. They are about meaning. They are edible language, telling the story of the city's past and present. Now, dear travelers, let us look back on our journey. We began at the sacred origins of omiyage, from talismans of Ise Shrine to treats of temple towns. We walked the lively streets of Asakusa, tasting luck, landmarks, and honesty. We stepped into Nihonbashi, smelling the smoke of katsuobushi, tasting the salt of tsukudani, hearing the stories of merchants. We sat by the Sumida River, blossoms falling, as sakura-mochi carried spring into our mouths. We compared Tokyo to Kyoto's elegance, Osaka's boldness, Nagoya's practicality, and Hokkaido's nature. Through it all, we saw what makes Tokyo unique. Its souvenirs carry stories of the city itself. So, dear listeners, when you next visit Tokyo, take your time. Do not simply grab the first box on the shelf. Pause. Listen to the story each souvenir tells. Do you wish to bring home the laughter of Asakusa, the dignity of Nihonbashi, the poetry of the Sumida? Remember, when you give a Tokyo souvenir, you are giving more than food. You are giving a story. You are giving memory. You are giving a piece of Tokyo's living heart. closing in next journey. And so, our Tokyo chapter closes. But our journey into Japan's souvenirs has just begun. Next, we will travel to Kyoto. There, souvenirs whisper with elegance. We will taste the soft sweetness of yatsuhashi. We will feel the quiet grace of tea sweets. We will see how Kyoto's souvenirs differ from Tokyo's lively laughter. Where Tokyo is Iki, the stylish spirit of commoners, Kyoto is Miyabi, the refined beauty of aristocrats. Join us again as we continue this journey through Japan, one souvenir at a time. Souvenirs are not just gifts. They are stories you can taste, memories you can carry, connections you can share. Tokyo has given us laughter, fortune, poetry, and flavor. Next, Kyoto will offer us elegance and grace. Thank you for walking this journey with us. We look forward to seeing you again.